Welcome to episode 86 of the Wilderness Podcast. I'm your host, Dilz, and with me every single week is Deagin.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. Some things we're going to talk about this episode. We got one of our beloved Runescape servers are getting shut down. Some Deadman mode talk. We see the summer finals coming around and information on the autumn seasonal. A new quest gets dropped on us in prep for Theater of Blood raids release. And I guess some more mobile beta talk.
Yeah, more invites came out.
Yeah, exactly. But before we get into that, what did you do this week?
I got quite a bit done. I was previously like almost 70 solo raids dry on a drop.
Okay.
I complained about that like quite a bit, I think. Went like well over a month without getting a single drop. Anyways, so this week the dry streak ended. I got a solo dex, a twisted buckler, and a dragon hunter crossbow within 3 days.
Jesus fucking Christ. What does that all equal up to?
Oh, like almost 200 mil?
Holy shit. So I guess it all pays off in the end.
And then I went and sold my dragon hunter crossbow that I had. Reason being is I don't really do Vorkath. New raids are coming out, so there's not going to be if there's a goddamn vampire dragon, like that's going to be stupid as hell. I'm assuming not, and so I sold both of my hunter crossbows for 109 mil. Keep in mind, I bought mine for 55, so like my first one.
Yeah, wasn't that thing like 5 mil?
No, it was like 20 mil at one point.
Before the buff?
Yeah, it was like 20 mil. It went from 20 mil up to like 110 or 113 mil.
Okay, that's still a big jump. I'm in my head, I thought it was like 5 mil or less at some point.
Nah. The dragon crossbow was like 4 mil at one point, or 3 mil. I bought one for 3 mil and sold it for 10.
Right. Okay, maybe I'm getting those two mixed up.
Anywho, yeah, so I got a decent amount of cash, like 300 mil this week pretty much, in terms of like GP. And then I also got a 3-man Ancestral Hat split, which is nice. Could have been, way fucking better. Instead of like a 7 mil split, I could have got like 33 mil, but that's fine. I'll always take free money.
What's that hat selling for?
Like 23 mil.
All right, not bad.
I mean, the bottoms go for like 80 to 90, and the top goes from 100 to 110. I don't know, like everything's been going up and down price, so like, but whatever.
Yeah, the market's a little squirrely because of that Theater of Blood just around the corner.
Yeah, I can't complain about free money though. So anyways, I went and bought max gear. I have like my full max mage range melee. I went and bought an Elder Maul alongside that. And I went and bought a bunch of ensouled dragon heads.
Okay.
So I've used a lot of them. Like I'm at 86 prayer right now, and I still have like over 1 mil of experience to go.
What are you aiming for? Are you just going for a higher prayer level? Are you gunning for 99?
I mean, I'm chipping away at 99 slowly.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, so I should get like 88, I think, at the end of all this. But I do like a little bit by little. I was kind of playing around with it, and the best I was getting was like I averaged 270 ensouled heads an hour, which is pretty decent.
Okay, so do you know how much experience that is?
420k. Like rounding down. Yeah, so it's not bad. 420k an hour.
Have you tried doing the ensouled heads versus the Gilded Altar versus the Chaos Altar in the Wilderness? Have you tried like all the other methods to see which one worked out best?
Well, it kind of depends like what you're doing. So let's say you're doing Dragon Bones and you're at like a Gilded Altar. If you're just like AFKing it and you do, because if I were to do prayer, I would use Dragon Bones. They're pretty cost effective and it's quick.
Yep.
Good middle ground. So if you're using the Gilded Altar, you're getting, and you're just like clicking it and leaving it, you're getting about 272k an hour.
All right.
If you're like tick manipulate, like doing like a 1 tick bones where you're using the bones on the altar, because you can actually do that and you can get it done like way faster. You can get like 500k down an hour.
Mm-hmm.
You 500k experience an hour. About like it's twice as fast. I mean, do like Superior Dragon Bones and get way more, but
that's
super
when you're breaking
expensive.
bank.
The thing is so if I wanted to AFK Dragon Bones, it would be way less experience and like way slower. And I didn't really want to AFK it too hard. I wanted to like to be able to like watch Netflix, but then also do something at the same time. Like I don't want to just like sit there and click every 30 seconds.
And then watch your inventory.
Yeah. And I don't want to like one ticket where I like, if I'm not constantly like clicking every tick pretty much, I'm losing a lot of experience per hour. And the thing with Unsold Heads is like, after like, you know, a couple inventories to find like optimal areas to like place the head and where my cannon goes, so my cannon hits it twice in a rotation, you know, like whatever, trying to be as optimal as possible, like as close to the fairy ring, blah 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 blah. Let's just say killing an Unsold Head is like an 8-second process. Like 7 seconds of that is AFK.
Okay, so I guess it's something.
Like, so, like, it's AFK, but you kind of have to pay, because it takes so long to actually summon the dragon.
Yeah.
But you're getting a lot of, you like one shot. They have like 35 HP. So it's super quick. And you're also getting magic experience. So if I'm going from 77 to 99, I get like 1.3 mil magic experience.
Oh, yeah? Holy fuck. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty decent. I would get like what? I'd go from 96 to 97 magic in that whole process, which is it's free magic experience, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and Soul Heads aren't that expensive. Like the main thing is that Dragon Bones are pretty fucking expensive. So if I'm going to the Chaos Altar, the issue is that it's even less experience than Gilded Altar, and it's not as AFK.
Is it less experience though?
Yeah, because there's the time in between. If you're doing suicide runs, which I would be, there's like a lot of downtime between each inventory.
True. I guess it's different if you're bringing Noted Bones with you and you're doing it there, because the guy's like right outside of the altar.
But the main issue is that people world hop there like crazy.
Yeah, although, like, when I was doing it, I got PK'd one time, but that was because I was, like, watching a movie on the side, and I really wasn't paying attention. Like, I looked over, and the guy's just killing me. I'm like, oh, this is where it ends. But when I was doing the Chaos Altar, I'd bring, like, 120 bones with me or something like that. You also have the chance of getting, like, double experience worth per bone, right? So
it's like a 50% chance to not consume the bone.
Yeah, and there was... I got super lucky, but I remember one time there was one bone, and it just kept getting, I kept saving that one bone, and it happened like 8 or 9 times, because I was like watching it, being like, I think I bugged the game. This one bone's going to get me to 99, and it lasted quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's like less AFK though, because like, especially if you're bringing in bones, you kind of really want to like one ticket, just to like get them done faster, so it's like, and it's more expensive. I mean, that's not more expensive. It's it's about the same price as Unsold Heads, and it's more stressful. So I was like, you know what?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a gamble going to the wilderness.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, you know what? Like macro-wise, I'm getting like 420k an hour, and I started like, that's when I was recording my experience rates. I found out like more like optimal setups, I guess. I found like little tricks, like you drop 5 to 7 heads at a time. And if you're ensoling that way, it's much faster, like way faster. So I'm probably like getting more than 400, like whatever, 20 or 12k, whatever it was, 421k, I think I got. So like it's pretty nice experience per hour. And it's like kind of like I can watch something and just kind of like look over and just, you know, boom.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the magic experience is really nice. I'd be really close to being like max combat by the time I hit 99 prayer.
Plus, if you're not max combat, you get minimal, but you still get some combat experience, or I should say melee experience.
Yeah, like about 30k an hour I averaged out.
It's something.
But that's with like best in slot setup. Full bandos, Nada's not, like prims, torture. Like I bring a DFS because they're dragons, so fire. I super combat too. I'll take a sip when I go bank. Like I try to do it as optimal as possible. So aside from that, I started to learn how to like run the head, or I guess I started to practice it. I already know the idea on how to run the head in raids, which is like the last boss in raid in Xeric's is Olm. And when you're in solos and in duos, but generally solos, you can do this like method where you like manipulate Olm to not even attack. You can just make him turn his head nonstop, and you can complete him without having a suicide. So if you don't do that, you'll like have to suicide in inventory, so you have potions in the raid. So that's why I ended up buying the Elder Maul, was because I'm running the head now, which is really fucking difficult. So goddamn hard. The timing is so precise.
It's even hard to understand without actually seeing it, because I know you've said that term, run the head, a handful of times to me, and I'm pretty sure I ask you to explain what that means every single time.
Yeah, it's just running to certain squares and doing attacks on certain ticks. And forcing, like, okay, imagine, you know, like RuneScape's kind of turn-based.
Yeah.
It's not, but like it is. Like if you're just, like if you're, me and you jump in the duel arena and we're whipping each other, like it's not like I can like, it's not like WoW or some shit where I'm like, oh, let me hodge you and oh, I'm gonna like pop my cooldowns, and it's like you hit, I hit, you hit, I hit.
Yeah, exactly. Compared to other games, like other turn-based games, this game wouldn't be turn-based, but when you compare this game to a game like World of Warcraft, it is turn-based.
It's pretty much turn-based.
Yeah, you can definitely see it with certain things.
It's like, okay, the best way I can explain it is like, imagine you're fighting Olm, and every time you have a turn, you can attack and you can move, or you can eat and move, but you have like an action and then a movement on your turn, and then Olm can either attack you, do a special attack, or turn his head. So every time it's your turn, you're attacking and then moving to a specific spot, so he's forced to turn his head on his turn. And you're doing that over and over and over again for like 20 minutes straight.
Sounds fun.
It's pretty frustrating, but like I mentioned like a long time ago, I was starting to learn how to run the head, and I would sit down and like I had raids where I would jump in and deliberately practice, where I literally rush to Olm and then I sit there for 2 hours practicing running the head, and then I just like leave the raid when I'm done because I have 0 points. So I've done that a couple times just to kind of figure it out, but when I was like trying to like beat the raid and run the head, I like wasn't doing it successfully, and I could not understand what I was doing wrong. And then I kind of just like, after, you know, like I'm like 301 raid or I'm over 300 raids now. So like I kind of understand. You kind of just like get the like, okay, he's going to do this now. Okay, he's going to do this now. And then I kind of translated that to like, all right, now I can just try to run the head. And so if I make a mistake, I actually know what I did wrong. So it makes it a lot easier to like do it correctly, you know?
Yep.
I still like have a lot of work to do, but it's challenging. Really fun though. It actually, like, I was getting kind of burnt out of like RuneScape, but getting those 3 solo drops and a split this week, just in time pretty much. I was like saying I'm worried I'm not gonna get the items for raids 2 with this massive dry streak I was hitting.
Yeah, okay.
But you know, I'll take it. I got you know, max gear now, and now I'm just saving up money for raids 2. I think I have 20 mil banked or something for like deaths. I have like a bunch of supplies bought too. Like 400 set, like 400 brews and shit just for raids 2 prep, I guess. Just because they're all going to go up in price probably, so I bought them now.
Do you think you're going to do it on release, like the hour it comes out?
It depends.
Okay.
Like, I'm going to be on, but I don't know if I will, because I asked you and I asked some other people, and like, I'll probably be taking it pretty serious, so if people don't want to like take it super serious, I don't want to like ruin the fun for them. Honestly, my end game for day 1 is to like learn the raids, and then with the next couple months to like get the drops early and make a lot of money. Gotcha. I'm pretty close to buying a twisted bow. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but my goal is to get like 1.3 bill-ish bank and sell everything except for like my augury and my archer's ring and stuff and Pegasians, and then buy a twisted bow and then rebuild my whole bank back. Yeah, that's my goal. I think it'd be like really interesting.
Are you doing it for fun to give yourself a goal to constantly work for, or do you just think that's the optimal way of doing it because the twisted bow
The thing
is so
is,
strong?
I don't know if it's optimal. I've been asking around. Someone told me that YouTubers have been doing it, but I haven't found any like series on it. Like, I don't know. I haven't found like anything where it's like, this is the optimal way to do it. It's more of like, Because now I have max gear. The only thing I have to buy is the Spectral. But, like, I'm only ever going to use it for Cerberus.
Yep.
All I need is, like, a Spectral. I need an Ellie and a T-Bow. And then I'm done.
And then it's time to start working towards that third age.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could get a Kodai wand, but I'm never going to use it.
You don't think so?
I never use it as is. I had one for a little bit, and I never used it, so I sold it. So I guess I kind of need a Kodai wand. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm super limited on the items I need, and it's like, I have, 2 items that, like, I won't really use, but then, like, the Ellie and the T-Bow are so expensive that me grinding for those items will burn me out 100%.
Oh, yeah. It's because even with Vorkath, 4 mil an hour? Okay, let's do some math.
I'm done with Vorkath until I start pet hunting. Like, I don't enjoy the boss. I actually, like, did some Zara this week because I was so, like, bored. I was like, fuck it, I'll go do some Zara. Bring in max gear and get 2 kills a trip because I'm bad. But anyways, hopefully, like, my goal for day 1 of raids 2 is to, like, find a team, go super hard, figure out, like, everything, and then kind of just start, like, smashing raids as much as I can. And try and get, like, a rapier or something and just make a bunch of money and then sell my bank, buy a T-Bow, and then just grind, like, Zilliana and shit for a while. And Zammy.
Start doing some pet hunting.
Yeah.
I just pulled out the calculator real quick. If you did Vorkath and you were getting 4 mil an hour, to get the T-Bow, it would take you 325 hours. So that's that's a little steep.
Yeah, that's 99 rune crafting, easy.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. If you're being, like, optimal about it, you can easily get 1 to 99 rune crafting.
Fuck, not bad.
Yeah. And I don't know, fucking Vorkath is just soul crushing. It's so, I don't know, I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like it would really keep it fresh and, like, interesting. 'Cause I don't know if it's optimal. All I know is I'll get, like, 11 or whatever kills at Zilliana solo, because I'm not prey flicking like crazy. And I've been told that I could just bring a T-Bow and get 40 kills a trip.
Fair enough.
And it's like, okay, I kind of really want one now.
Yeah, okay.
And, like, I don't know, it would just make it interesting. Like, what if it's not optimal at all? It's like, well, whatever, that's fine. I'll just, like, build base gear and then just rebuild. Like, I don't know, it's kind of the fun of it.
Yeah.
Definitely keep things interesting. But yeah, I also did the new quest, but we'll talk about that later.
True. Okay, cool.
Yeah, anyways, what'd you do this week?
My week, so for the past month, actually 2 months, work's been fucking crazy. Like, coming in every day an hour and a half early, sometimes staying half an hour late.
The classic May 2-4 crunch.
Yeah.
Actually, like, illegal. Not really, but it should be. It's so fucking awful.
It's just crazy. Like I mentioned before that I work residential construction. May is the end fiscal year of the company, I guess. But they try to close as many houses as they can before that end of year thing. So May, They're just like pushing to get as many things done, but like you're having 4 homes closing every single day, which a closing means the homeowners are coming to move in. They get their keys, they can do whatever they want with it. Part of the reason is there's a bit of a weird housing bubble where I'm working, where, not to bore you guys, but house prices were going up at an insane rate. So people were buying the houses and flipping them. The problem is that bubble bursted. So a lot of people bought these houses in hopes to sell them when they're done, but now the prices of the houses have crashed a bunch. A lot of people are trying to get out of buying the houses. Anyways, point is they're trying to get as many of those houses closed so that they don't have to deal with that weird, that fuss, right? Anyways, it's been really busy and I'm having to work on like 4 houses a day, which is actually, it's a lot.
It's awful. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just come home burnt out and I'm fucking tired, and then haven't been doing the most gains on. Well, I've been playing RuneScape pretty steadily, but I'm not going hard. Like I haven't really touched raiding too much, and that's part of the reason. It's like, it's kind of like with League of Legends. If you played that game, it takes a lot of precision and like you have to be focused. And if you're tired, that could cause you to play like shit, and you're not gonna have a good time. So I haven't been doing anything too much. Like I've been doing like a lot of AFK Slayer. I'll get a Slayer task that might require me to take more focus. Like, let's say I get black demons, and normally I would go to the demonic gorillas. I'm like, I'm not going to do that because I'm just going to get like 2 kills per trip. I'm going to end up dying and having to spend my whole night running back and forth between where my loot is. That whole rush is basically over, which is great. Friday was the first day that was actually like the exact opposite of really busy. I had nothing to do because you get this lull in between things now where you're like, okay, now what? Well, now I got to wait for the next phase of houses to pop up. So Friday was awesome. I played a lot of mobile RuneScape, let's just say.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess I'll mention this now. We had a suggestion on Discord this week from a user named Blood Orchid. And he said, I have a recommendation since I have the always on beta status. I think it would be a great podcast discussion if you could do one various task a week, whether it's PVM, skilling, bossing, minigames, PKing, etc. And then have like a pros and cons or things I liked and disliked about doing it on mobile specifically versus on computer. So I think now that things have slowed down, I'll be able to actually tackle it. And I think it'll be good to see how doing things on the mobile is out in the real world. You know what I mean? Not when you're doing it on Wi-Fi where everything's perfect. Because I've noticed there's just some things you'll bump into on mobile when you're, let's pretend like you're on the bus or something, or you're just outside breathing fresh air for whatever reason. So if you guys have a suggestion, just drop it in on Discord or let us know through an email or Twitter or whatever it is on maybe different topics you want me to test out on mobile to see how it is. And then this way I can dedicate, a couple days or maybe the whole week to doing something and trying it out and see if it's actually possible. But anyways, I'll touch more on that afterwards. But back to my progress this week, I was able to get 99 defense. So now I have my maxed melee combat stats.
Nice.
I finally don't have to worry about switching to ranged and it being on long ranged for the longest time, and then switching back to melee and realize I'm training strength.
Wait, you did that?
Well, a bunch. Like, I'll be doing something where I gotta swap between different range things, and I'll be like, why the hell is the blowpipe going so slow? Oh, it's on long range, switch it to rapid fire, go that, then I'll switch back to melee.
I thought like you swapped it off rapid to long range for the defense experience.
Oh, no.
I was like, what?
Man, it's the best EHP I found out. No, I wasn't doing that. It's just when you're fighting certain things, we got to swap between different stuff. Or if you're just going from a Slayer task that you're ranging to a Slayer task you're meleeing, and you're sitting there being like, man, this defense experience is shit. And you realize you're on control for the last hour. When I'm doing my Slayer tasks now, I'm basically bursting them with magic whenever I can. You get a bunch of tasks that are super optimal to burst. They make it super fast. Great magic experience. And some of them you're not really losing a whole lot of money. Like with Necrials, you do that in the catacombs. You can burst a bunch at a time. You get good experience. But you're also getting like a bunch of rune items. Problem is you pick them up and you might run out of space eventually, but you try to manage that, and you're not losing a whole bunch of money from bursting, right?
Yeah. Are you doing, like, ice barrage or blood barrage?
I am doing ice bursting at the moment.
Okay.
Why? What's the difference? What's the,
Well, with, like, Necrials and shit, you'll get hit through melee prayer.
Oh, that's from the death spawns, yeah.
Yeah, so you can just spam blood barrage. That's what I see a lot of people doing, so you don't have to worry about eating.
I found with Necrials, like, you're not getting hit too often if you have them stacked well, because either the death spawns, which are these little minions that get spawned by them, and they only hit you for like 1s and 2s, but still it all adds up. They'll kind of either get stuck behind a Necrial so they can't hit you, or you just end up freezing them a tile away from you so they can't come up to you.
So when I usually will like sit down and do the math on like which way is cheapest. And, like, so if I'm doing, like last time I did, like, Abyssal Demons, my last bursting task, at the time it was cheapest for me to do I think it was to do Smoke Barrage, and then use Blood Barrage to heal up. I mean, you should never Ice Barrage Demons, because they teleport you around. I learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
Pro tip, you can just wear, like, full Proselyte against Necrials and Abbey Demons and Dust Devils.
Yeah, that's right. You see a lot of people busting out the full Arums and stuff like that. When you're in the catacombs specifically, they have, like, no magic defense. It's similar to Barrows, where you can run full Torags with a magic attack, and you'll always hit them.
I mean, I use my Ancestral, because extra max hit.
Yeah, I think that's the only magic armor you'd want, is the stuff that's going to increase your maximum damage.
Yeah. Instead of because like typically like Arams and Mystics, that just makes your attacks more like accurate. But with like Tormented Bracelet and all that stuff, Ancestral and stuff, it gives you like a higher like max hit.
Yeah, that's right, and that's going to help with your experience per hour and kills per hour.
Also, bust up that Falador shield. If you have the hards done, you can just give yourself the prayer restore, and it gives you a nice prayer bonus too. It's one of the best prayer shields.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
I should start busting that out more often. You see a lot of people using that when they're doing rune crafting through the abyss, because if they get PK'd, they can plop the effect and get their
keep the glory. I do that.
4K glory.
Yeah, all they're getting is a black pickaxe from me and some essence.
Yeah. But besides all that, I also got 81 Herblore this week, which means I can make Ceridome brews.
Nice.
Kind of nice. Nothing much there, but I was gunning for that because I had a shit ton of, what is it, toad flax? Is that what you need to make it?
Snapdragon, isn't it?
No, for Cerebrews, it's toad flax.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had like 800 of those in vials because I messed up way back and I was trying to make some type of weapon poison, I think, when I was trying to level up.
Dude, I'm so fucked. I know you said Cerebrew, but I was thinking like restores or something. In my mind, I'm like,
oh.
I was like, wait, you need 81 for... No, wait, dude, Sunny D's, man. What's wrong with me? Jesus. Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, that's about it. It's just something I was gunning for because I had like 2 mil worth of potions in the bank that were just unfinished, and I didn't want to sell them because that was going to be awesome experience. But at the same time, I fucked up early on because I was trying to make weapon poison. I was trying to make some sort of potion with it, and I put them into vials, and then I realized afterwards you need to put them in coconut milk vials, which I thought the coconut milk was one of the ingredients you'd use. Anyways, I messed up and then had them sitting there. So I've been just waiting to make those.
Have you been doing False Island bird nest runs for the crush or for the nests?
No, I've been doing Grand Exchange buy a bunch runs.
Oh. I mean, I don't know how much you like doing dailies. I hate them and don't do them, but
yeah, they're more like weeklies to me. Like I'll just remember. Oh yeah,
I'm just saying. Before I got my quest cape, I put 2 mil in the miscellanea house. Haven't been back since. It's been like a year.
Damn, you're gonna have so much money there.
No, I only put 2 mil in, so like after a week it's gone. Like it's like the money's been used. I have to go. If I'm like addicted to staking and I stake my bank or something, I got like 2 mil that I can.
That's an investing account.
Yeah,
nice.
I know I can go and get free money, but I don't want to go back.
Anyways, I'll moving on because I don't want to drag this out for too much longer. A few things I did touch on mobile. Nothing that I've dived deep on, but I've just been trying a bunch of different things out just because I have it available and I'll be at work at a free day to do shit. So some of the things were I tried Vorkath, which isn't too bad. There's a few things that make it tricky. He has a mechanic where he'll freeze you, and then he shoots this like zombie spawn thing. It's like this little insect alien thing that kind of runs at you, and if it hits you, it's gonna do like 80 damage.
Yeah, it's like a zombie crab, right?
Yeah, it does like a lot of damage to you. What you want to do is you want to cast Crumble Undead, the spell in your normal spell book, on it, and it'll instant kill it. So that mechanic there, it's not super hard on mobile, but but at the same time, it's kind of easy to misclick and hit the wrong spell.
True.
So that's one issue I had with that fight. But at the same time, it's not, if you're being super precise and being careful when you click it, it's not too bad. But the problem is you're kind of on a timer, like you got to do it ASAP.
Yep.
Another mechanic that was kind of tricky on mobile was that poison spawn, where he'll shoot up all this poison, and then he'll start rapid firing these fireballs at you, and you kind of have to walk constantly to dodge them. And what most people do is they'll just walk it, they won't run it, and they'll find a blank space where there's no poison spots, and they'll just walk back and forth. It has to be like more than 4 tiles or something like that. But you kind of walk in a line back and forth, because when you step on the poison spots, it's going to heal them for like 5 or 8 damage.
Yeah, I think the max is like 10 or some dumb shit, but it's also, it sucks to walk over them.
Yeah, so that thing's not too hard, but the problem is you're having to tap on your run energy, whereas on PC, I'll just always be on walk, and then when I need to run to dodge his he shoots a fireball up in the air, that when it hits you, it will one-hit you.
Yeah.
And all I do is hit control, and then I click, and it makes you run, but you'll still have the walk enabled, so then you can walk around for other things.
Yep.
But with mobile, obviously, you got to tap. Again, if you do a misclick, you're not tapping it. And on top of that, like if you're trying to find a good poison spawn, you kind of have to rotate the map a bit, which means you're dragging your finger around, which can cause you to stand still for a second and get one hit. But the biggest problem with that mechanic or that phase is that if you're doing it out in the real world, you hit one small lag spike and you're dunzos. That was one of my biggest problems with that fight is everything would be fairly easy to do. That phase would happen, and for some reason, I'd hit the smallest lag spike, and then you just get one shot, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Do you think that's a Canadian issue? Because we have shit internet.
It could be.
Like, do you think if you're like living in LA or somewhere in California or like somewhere in Europe or UK or something,
or Taiwan, where you have global Wi-Fi for the whole country?
Yeah, because I know like even like I'm in like a pretty populated area, and there's still dead zones. You know, like I don't is that like a thing in LA where you're in downtown and you're like, oh yeah, this block just has no internet. Like I don't know, it could be. Hopefully, it's just a Canadian thing.
You know what? I'd have to assume that there are dead spots everywhere.
Yeah,
but at the same time, you know, we are just ignorant Canadians. So what do we know, right?
Yeah,
but. That is a good factor, too, was that on my construction site, there are a ton of dead spots. So I'll be working in these houses. Well, actually, now that it's slowed down, I'd find a house that was empty. Obviously, I had to have carpet. I'd go upstairs, and then I'd be kind of bouncing around between the bedrooms to find where the most optimal service spot is, where I'm not going to lag too much. That's what I did for Vorkath. Like, I was with my partner. We were both sitting in the room playing games, and I'd get up, and I'm like, I got changed bedrooms. I'm lagging a bit here. And I go to the next one. And I'm like, man, we got changed houses. This whole house is lagging a little bit.
You're just like standing on like a bucket with your phone in the corner of one room.
Boss comes in. What are you doing? Sorry, I'm just Vorkath. Ah, nice.
Looks like the paint was a little spotty here. I'm just looking with my camera.
Facing, holding it on horizontally.
I know it looks like I'm fighting a dragon, sir, but that's part of the UI with this app. It's an ad. I'm actually looking at an advertisement.
See those green spots right there? That's everywhere that needs to be touched up. Fuck, I'm dead. That's where you lose the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's part of the problem. Like I mentioned before, where on my site, I was trying to find a more AFK task to do, which was what I chose was cooking. It's super easy where if you lag, not that big of a deal.
Yep.
So that's what I was doing. But yeah, that's also a big factor is that, you hit a bunch of lag. But anyways, Vorkath was a bit tricky because you got to be super good with your timing and a little bit of lag will kill you. Another boss that I did do because I got a Slayer task for it was Scorpia, which is a scorpion boss in the wilderness. So it's a pretty easy fight. You go into this little cave. You pray from range because all these little scorpions are going to be shooting shit at you. The idea is to ice burst him or ice barrage him so he stops, and then you can far cast him with magic.
Yep.
At half health, he'll spawn these two other scorpions that are going to heal him. And you can either kill the two scorpions or you can freeze them and move Scorpio away from them.
Yeah.
And then after 10 seconds, they'll despawn. And they also can't heal them if there's like more than 3 tiles in between them. So that fight was pretty easy. Now, this is a very specific problem to my situation, but this happened twice. Fucking pissed me off. But I'm in a house and I'm doing that boss. And then my boss walks in. And I don't really want him to see me just sitting in a house playing video games, even though he probably is assuming I'm doing that, but I just don't want him to know that. Out of sight, out of mind, right?
Yep.
Anyways, he comes in. I quickly try to run out of the cave and log out, and then I turn off the phone and log back in, and boom, I'm in Lumbridge because I must have either got killed by a PKer or killed by the boss. So that happened 2 different times. So that was a little annoying, but, I guess it's part of the risk.
Yeah. Part of the mobile grind, dude.
Yeah. But besides that, there's one thing that I noticed was, I guess it's debatable, but I found it a little bit easier to do on the phone than on the PC. And that was Herblore. Because we talked 2 weeks ago where they introduced this new button, I guess, on the mobile UI where you could click it and you could set it so that you could do a one-click withdrawal X amount. What you would do for Herblore especially is you just set it to 14, click your unfinished potion, click your Eyes of Newt or whatever second ingredient you need, and then you just click them and get them to start making. But it's just super easy to do because it's just a one click, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's something that's not available on the PC. So with the PC, you got to right click and then, scroll down to 14 withdrawal, and you do that. And it's not that big of a deal, but sometimes you do misclick and you withdraw all of them and you fill your inventory up or whatever it is. But with the phone, there's no problem. You just click, boom, boom, and you're good to go. That's basically all the mobile talk I'll do this week. I think I'll start trying to find a specific thing to do, and I'll tackle that to see and give a more detailed explanation. I just want to talk about some of the things that I have been doing, but that is just random things that I decided to do because A, I had the Slayer task, or B, I wanted to make 4 mil an hour at work, which didn't turn out. It was like negative 200K an hour, but anyways, just, random things that I wanted to do myself, but yeah, if you have a suggestion, please let us know. So the last things I wanted to talk about or mention, because these are just little things I noticed, is that one, I did a Jad task on my PC today, and I did it with RuneLite. RuneLite has a plugin which is like meant for just fighting Jad, where it tells you the exact prayer to throw on when you're fighting Jad. So you don't have to focus on his animations, you just look at the picture, and it'll change between magic and ranged. Were you aware of that plugin?
I was told about it. I've never used it though, because I don't really think that's fun. I liked just, figuring out which was what. Because Jad's I've done Jad enough where it's not hard.
No.
And the plugin is just shit on my screen that I don't need to be seeing.
Yeah, it's a small little square, but when I did it, it made me go, why is this allowed in the game? That seems like too much.
We didn't talk about it when we did our little overview with clients, but there's a client called Excellent Client. Don't use it because you'll get banned. People have gotten banned before. There's only 200 users. That client has really fucking overpowered plugins. I think it has the Jad client, but I know it has a Zara helper. It has a scouter thing, it has a thing in PvP where it tells you who's in what clan, and it tells you what they're risking as well, GP wise. And when you kill someone, it tells you how much GP they dropped.
Wow.
You know what I mean? There's way more overpowered stuff than the Jad client, but I do think the Jad client is a little overpowered, or the Jad helper.
It really hurts the integrity of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just saying, if Zara helper gets people banned on that client, I would not be surprised if the Jad eventually, you know what I mean? I mean, it's not as invasive as stand here and use this on this. It's more of just change your prayers, but
the big problem is for many first timers, and this is basically what that plugin is meant for, someone doing it for the first time, is that you kind of panic, and it's pretty easy. You're just switching between prayers for the most part. And it's based on what he does. If he does a slam down, that's going to be ranged. If he hovers and stays standing up for a little bit longer, it's going to be magic. So it's not too hard, but when you're fighting against your own anxiety, it makes the fight so much harder than it actually is.
Yep.
And part of the problem is what people have is either they'll just mess up the switches, or Jad will do a ranged attack 5 times in a row, and then his next attack turns out to be ranged again, but you just instinctually switch it to magic because you're just sitting there waiting to change it. You're just ready to, you're just so on the trigger to change the prayer. And every time he does the same attack, you're sitting there being like, all right, is it magic this time? Nope. Is it magic this time? Nope. Is it magic this time? Nope. And you're like, it's coming up. It can't be ranged for the rest of the fight. And then you accidentally switch and you get hit for the ranged attack. But this just makes it so you just stare at the little icon and you switch it to whatever is supposed to be switched. And when it's red, because it'll be red when you aren't on the right prayer, and then it'll just be the normal color when you aren't. It just, I don't know, it just seems too much. It seems like it takes away a little bit of the fight.
Yeah. I think the main thing is that it kind of ruins the achievement of getting your fire cape if you're using a tool that literally tells you what to do. It would be like doing Inferno, and it's like, or, stand here, gotta barrage these guys, alright, pray flick now, okay, stand here, we're gonna auto-mark tiles for you for Zuck, and you have to stand here and shoot your T-bow at him at these points, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, did you really beat it? Or did you just go off of like were you fighting Jad, or were you just staring at a tool? Like an icon thing. Yeah, it's kind of squirrely.
Yeah, so hopefully they get this whole... I hope they just flesh out this client issue where, like, Jagex doesn't agree with some things, but then there's some things they're like, I don't know if this is a problem or not, and hopefully they just fix all of that.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's two quick things I also want to mention. On the topic of clients, since RuneLite has made its appearance and a lot of people have been shifting from OS Buddy and that whole OS Buddy debacle, have you seen how populated World 329 is?
No, my default is 314.
On OS Buddy, 329 was the default, where like if you're on OS Buddy, that's the world you'll be put into. And for the longest time, it was always above 1,500 or near 2,000 people on that world.
Yeah.
Now it sits around like 500 and 600.
Damn.
I've been watching it for the past couple days or so, and like it always has. It's like a normal world now.
As of recording, there is 30,000 people using RuneLite in game right now.
Not bad.
There's 916,000 users in total. Almost 1 million.
Damn.
At least that's what the Discord is saying right now. I believe so. Yeah.
Interesting.
RuneLite's overtaking. Honestly, 9 times out of 10 I'm on Conduit because I'm doing raids, and it's kind of weird that RuneLite wasn't allowed to have plugins that Conduit has.
Yeah, fair enough. You know what? You mentioned that, just reminded me, and I can't believe this slipped my mind. I did try my first solo raid this week, and it was all right. It took me 3 hours, but I finally completed it.
Nice. Yeah, my first solo was 3 hours.
Didn't get much loot. Anyways, I tried it again last night, and fuck was I tilted. I got to Ulm, and the whole raid is, if you scout the raid and you find the rooms that are going to work for you, it's not hard at all the way up until Ulm, and then Ulm himself isn't super hard until the final phase, and that's where shit just hits the fucking fan, and that's where I die like 10 times. I'll be no deaths throughout the whole raid until that last phase, where you're facing the head, and he's dropping all this fucking shit on you, turning off your prayers to shoot this at you, and these fucking electrical lightning strikes or whatever, shooting across the floor that you gotta dodge, and then there's poison things you gotta dodge, and bombs you gotta dodge, and these blue stupid little pools you gotta step in, while poison is spawning underneath you. It's, oh my god, it's fucking stressful.
Yeah. I mean, general rule of thumb, if you're above 60 HP, you're okay. Generally.
Yeah, there's like special cases, like if you're me and you're just fucking terrible and get super tilted. I did a solo raid last night, got all the way up to Ulm. On the last phase, I died 12 fucking times.
Damn, dude.
And then I guess what? I rage quit. I spent 3.5 hours in there and I just fucking rage quit and left.
I mean, you would have only gotten like 10k for a minute, so it's not a big deal.
No, but it's more on the lines of like, oh, I fucking beat it. You know what I mean? Like, I died 100 times, but in the end I won. This one was like, no, I died like 20 times and I still didn't beat it. It was so stressful. I just got tilted so hard because, yeah, it's rough. And then I went and watched some videos and how other people do it. I'm like, oh, they make it look so much easier. I think I should be able to do it the next time easily. Mm-hmm. Easier, at least. So it's super hard to do, but it's still a lot of fun until you died after 10 times and you get super stressed. But yeah, anyways, the last thing I mentioned before we move on to the news, last week we got the challenge mode for raids come out, where they had like a scoreboard, like a leader, like a ladder where people could climb for the best times that week. We talked last week how it was kind of problematic on the way they implemented it, and like it doesn't really give you incentive to compete for the best time because you just find an empty world. So anyways, I wanted to go check out some of the raid times for different worlds. I found so many of them that were just empty across every single category of teams.
Yep.
And one that surprised me was World 2. World 2 was completely empty.
Yeah, because it's kind of unreliable,
I guess. Yeah, I was just surprised because I know a lot of people on that world are doing the dual arena, like they're staking. That's the staking world. But still, I kind of expected it to be a more competitive world just because of how many people are on it.
What happens is you jump in, you're like, where is everyone from? Oh, everyone's from West Coast. I'm from East Coast. Well, we'll go on a West Coast server. Fuck it. And you just find whatever is the best ping for the average person, and you just jump in and do it. Actually, now that you bring that up, I said that challenge mode raids might switch every week. They might get mixed up, but apparently that's not the case. Apparently they have one layout that they're sticking to, which I don't like. But now I think about it, they don't have the manpower to sit down and really play. Because this is this layout is like really thought out well. You can tell if you're running through it optimally that they've set it up so you're actually able to be like, well, we need 3 specs of Tecton for it to be like efficient to actually fight him. So Tecton's first, you know?
But like even that hurts the incentive to keep competing every week because it's the same raid. You know what I mean? Like you find out the meta on how you beat it and you don't ever have to worry about changing shit up.
They don't really have the manpower to like really figure out like a nice layout. Like this one I think is like it's a really nice layout. I talked about it like last week what it was. And like when you're running through it, it's like you guys do Tecton and stuff. Well, I think Ice Demon's your second room, and right next to Ice Demons is like a double scavenger beasts, which are like the big boys that you kill for your secondaries. So you have people doing Ice Demon while one person's getting a chest and secondaries, and then from there you continue on, you do like another room, and then you can, you know, make all your supplies the rest of the raid, and it flows really well. And like I could imagine it being like a shitty layout, and then people just saying, "Nah, I'm not doing it." And the main thing is, there's like if you're doing challenge mode raids, you have to like the goal is to beat it under the elapsed time. Yep. So you get bonus points, but then also a chance to, like the transmutation thing for your pet. So if they do different layouts, the time will be different every time. And so one week it might be a really shitty time. And well, no one's doing challenge mode raids because it's super fucking impossible. Like Tecton's the last guy, and if you miss all your specs, you're not getting the elapsed time, so you might as well restart.
Yeah, I just feel like the way it's been set up, it's basically doomed to go the same way as Last Man Standing, where people aren't doing it for the best timing. They're doing it for the extra points or the pet, which I know is kind of the point, but still, like, I was hoping it would bring in a new competitive edge to the PVMing scene.
Yeah, I think that stuff like was kind of a second thought. It was like a last minute, like, fuck it, we'll just have times. Yeah, okay, yeah, cool. All right, we're done. It's in. Okay, cool. Because like I feel like now with Raids 2 coming out, you need a 3 to 5 man team. But if you don't have people to play with, and you don't want to sit there and continue to grind normal raids, like, fuck, I have a T-Bow and everything. I just don't know people. I can't do this new raid. Well, at least I have something to grind for. I can grind for the transmog, which will keep me playing for an extra month or 2. Or even, 3 or 4. I don't know what the drop rate is on it.
Yeah, it's just, I guess I just had too high of hopes for it to be like, you'd have all these top clans constantly racing to get the best time each week, but that's not really going to be the case, it seems like.
Yeah.
So, a little disappointing. Maybe they'll switch in the future. Who knows? But anyways, we've rambled on quite a bit, but let's jump right into the news.
All right. So, Summer Special 2018 has begun.
That's right.
There's the 3 for 2 membership, cheaper membership, and then there's a 6 for 5, 6 months for the price of 5.
Cool.
With the 6 to 5, for 645, you get all RuneScape Premier Gold Club benefits, so that doesn't really matter unless you play RS3.
Yeah.
3 for 2, you don't. But who cares about that? There's more invites that went out for the Android betas.
Yep.
Didn't get into it. Game sucks. Let's move on.
Well, they're gonna keep pumping those out, so you might get lucky.
Which pissed me off because I was reading like the comments on like the thing on the subreddit, and some dude's like, haha, I got in, but I don't even own an Android. It's like, why'd you sign up?
Yeah.
Asshole, god damn it. Anyways, they did some maintenance on the 23rd of Wednesday. I'm speculating that they're just downgrading all the servers because of all the micro disconnections, but they did it to the Australian servers. So they went and did some maintenance on that. I think they might be done for doing maintenance because they did East Coast, West Coast, German and UK worlds, and then Australian. So I think we're done for that.
It could just be a new thing they're doing where was it Tuesday, it seems like? They're plopping it down for a bit to do some maintenance. Because a lot of games do that on Tuesday. They'll go down for a couple hours while they...
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel there's no improvements. In fact, since this maintenance ordeal, I get disconnects. Like the server, it's not I'm disconnecting from the game, it's that the server itself is disconnecting. I'll sit there for 5 seconds and then the game just kind of continues. It's not like I get hit 8 times. It's like the game itself, the server's frozen. Mm-hmm. Whatever. RuneScape Classic is being shut down.
Yeah, that's some pretty big news. It's the very first iteration of RuneScape.
So on the 6th of August, it will at 8 a.m. BST, 6th of August, it will be shut down. You can still play up until then, but
yeah, it's a little bit sad. Like I've been on it and I've played a little bit, but I didn't entirely enjoy it. When I first got into RuneScape was right after RuneScape Classic converted to RuneScape 2, I guess.
Yep.
And so I never really played this too much. It has a lot of issues, but since this news came out, I've been seeing there's like a handful of players that are super dedicated to that game for whatever reason, but you could probably count on both your hands. Those players are going to be super... they're losing the game, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's like 200 people that play the game. Well, probably less because most of them are alts. Honestly, it's time. If you've ever dived into RuneScape Classic during that little like hack scare type thing, I was playing RuneScape Classic at the time, and I thought one of the people were in this Skype group I was in, which was legit. Every serious RuneScape Classic player was in the Skype group, and it was like 80 people. Mm-hmm. And they all played 3 or 4 accounts, and they all bought it on all of them. Like, yeah, you didn't legitimately play because there was no you just botted it. Like everyone, like I was playing, and be like, hey, like, what should I be doing? Like, I'll go focus on quests, and then people are like, dude, download this client and just bot them. And like, what? Like, just go bot your combat stats, go bot all your skills. Like, no one actually plays this game. Just treat it as an Iron Man mode that you can bot and you'll never get banned from.
Yeah, basically, because there's no team behind RuneScape Classic anymore.
There's no
no one's getting banned from botting, and it's super. There's a bunch of things that kind of just a little crazy. Like from what I remember, is with wood cutting and fishing. Every time you caught a fish, you had to re-click.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
You could bug out certain characters. There was a world where you couldn't do KBD because someone bugged out the lesser demons in the gate and shit, and you just couldn't go through.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like, there's like a lot of like big issues with the game, and they didn't do any weekly maintenance or anything. I don't even know if it cost them something, but probably like pennies.
Yep. But
they're still deciding to shut it down, even though $11 a month meme.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's a private server. It's called like RSC Reborn or something, or RSC Redemption. I have no idea. So I think all the serious players are gonna migrate to that. And then they'll get DMCA'd by Jagex a couple times. Yeah, I think it's time.
It sounds right. Like, it's sad for the couple of players who actually enjoy RuneScape Classic, and they're not necessarily gonna have a game to play. But that being said, I guess all good things come to an end at some point.
Yep.
And what is it, like 20 years? I want to say, like, RuneScape Classic. Because before RuneScape Classic, it was just some like devious mud game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which eventually is what RuneScape Classic became. But that happened like 1998, so it's definitely had its time out there. But something interesting to mention, on the Reddit post for this dev blog, a user made a comment named Daniel Scapin saying everyone who needs to log into RuneScape Classic on the final day and have a massive farewell party. And then Jagex Aiza responds, we'll likely have a big gathering with all the mods on the final few hours leading to the shutdown. Once it's a bit closer to that, we'll announce something more official so players will know when to join. He basically just says, keep your eyes out for, August 6th. They gave a specific hour, so you know when it's going to be shutting down. It's not just, this day at some point. So, yeah, it's...
Yeah.
I highly suggest keep your eyes and ears out for that and try to go on and see what's going on, what's happening.
Yep. RuneScape Classic was released on 2001. Just want to mention that.
Oh, okay. So Devious Mud, that came out in 1998 then.
Yeah. So it's been out for some goddamn long time,
Yep.
It's a pioneer. Kind of sucks, but what are you going to do?
The only time I'm ever going to play it now is because of the last final hurrah party.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have touched it otherwise. There's one cool thing about RuneScape Classic too, though, is that I believe you started with like 9 HP in that game instead of 10 health. And when it converted over to RuneScape 2, if you kept your health at 9, your character got converted and you still had 9 health.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not mistaken, there's probably a couple characters who are able to keep that account out, all that are still, I don't know if they're still playing, but it still exists in RuneScape 3.
Yeah.
And they'll have 9 HP.
Yeah, there's 1 HP accounts as well in RuneScape 3.
What?
So what they did back in the day was if you botted something, you would get banned, but then the skill would get reset to 1. And I know this because my one close buddy of mine botted a fuck ton on RuneScape. Like, he botted so much, and his account got banned, and, like, stats got wiped down to 1 over and over and over again, and then one day he got banned. And I remember, like, him sending me a message on, like, MSN or whatever we were using at the time. Like, dude, I have 1 HP. And I was like, what the fuck? And I remember looking him up on the high score, and, I don't know if it's still the same, but back then, if a stat was under, like, 30, it didn't show up anymore, and he had, like, 80 or 90 HP at the time, and he didn't have an HP level on the high score. Yeah, he had 1 HP, but, like, those accounts are super rare.
Yeah.
And, like, some of them have a bunch of bans on them, too.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, the 9 HP accounts, it's really cool.
Yeah, a little fun fact.
Yeah. Shall I move on?
Yep.
All right, so Deadman survey, summer finals, and autumn season. So they have a Deadman mode survey you can enter or participate in.
Yeah, I don't know if there's 2 different surveys.
There was one if you participated in the finals and the summer season, and then there's one like that you're able to participate in, and there's one that everyone can participate in.
Right. I think not even just the finals, just being in the seasonal, because I got a message on my Pures account.
There's the summer season and the spring finals.
Right, okay.
So it's like if you want to do that, there's a Survey Monkey thing, which is weird that Jagex uses a Survey Monkey, but we won't go into details with that. Takes about like 10 minutes to do, so if you want to do that, yeah, go for it. But the Deadman Summer Finals, it'll begin the 23rd of June. They don't have an exact time yet, and it'll end like the next week, so Saturday the 30th of June. Time yet to be confirmed.
Cool.
Yeah, so should we go over the rules that people will inevitably break?
Yeah, I'm just curious how much a ticket goes for to see the Deadman mode season live.
Well, let's check it out.
It's like $15 Canadian.
Yeah, but no refunds.
Ooh.
You can buy alcohol, though. That's kind of cool. Get wasted.
Just start yelling at the fucking J-mods on stage.
Yeah. So some of the rules that everyone will be breaking is swapping and muling is bannable.
Of course.
Carried over from the seasons. Dragons now, I don't know, I guess this isn't a rule, but these are just some changes, I guess. Dragons now drop double the amount of bones from same thing as the season. Tuna, lobsters, swordfish, shark, carambwans, dark crabs, and angler fishing spots will yield 3 times the amount of fish. Carried over from the season.
Yep. All
random unnoted herb drops from the NPCs are now doubled. I wonder if the Sinister Chest counts. I'm not too sure. I don't know if it's just NPCs.
Is that the one that's in the wilderness?
There's the muddy chest you might be thinking of.
Yeah.
There's the sinister chest where you can kill some mage guy and get a key and open it up. I know Iron Men do that for certain herbs at like low levels.
Nice.
But yeah, every NPC in game will have a chance at landing on an additional drop table that contains highly sought after supplies. The chance is determined by the combat level of the NPC, and bosses will have an increased chance of hitting this table. Superior Slayer creatures have a guaranteed chance. The giant mole drops double the amount of claws and hides. The number of potions and secondary ingredients from the Barrows drop table has been tripled.
Damn.
The restocking speed of stores for runes and arrows have been substantially increased. Players have the ability to lock and unlock experience gain. All Zia House favor is 100%, and the mini quest is done.
Cool.
Every player will have the bigger and badder Slayer perk unlocked from the very start. Pyramid tops will turn into cash upon death. The Tome of Fire drop rate has been increased by 10 times. Burnt pages have been doubled. Mysterious emblems are now worth double the amount of points. Starter packs will be available. Reduces the maximum fog damage in 1v1 arenas to 2. Second or 2s? The maximum is 2s. Okay, never mind. I don't know what the maximum was beforehand, but it's 2s. The increased duration of the 1v1 banking phase is 10 minutes. Allow login temporarily after a player logs out during the permadeath stage.
Ooh, there we go. A little
The discretion of Jagex.
Yeah, a little fix from last season.
Yep.
Or last tournament, I should say.
Allow the first section of the permadeath stage to be paused at the discretion of Jagex.
Pause it. I gotta use the washroom real quick. All right.
In the aftermath of the spring finals, we said we'd have a clear player-facing contingency plan in place ahead of the beginning of the finals. They've made progress, but not really because they won't tell us what it is.
Yeah.
It's like when I say I have something in the works for you guys, but I never speak of it again.
Remember that like really detailed Pure guide that I was planning on doing like back in episode 5 of this podcast?
Oh, yeah.
And I started working on it, and then like Winter Todd came out, and like all these new updates to Pures happened.
Great progress has been made, but we're not in a position yet to publicly share it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what's going on. It's very extensive.
Oh, it's so detailed that like,
it is so detailed.
I might like my kids are gonna have to finish this. I'm gonna die and pass away, and it's still gonna be like halfway done. So they're gonna have to finish my great works.
Like we're gonna have to publish it.
I'm shipping around right now for some publishers, so I can.
Well, we have to sort through all the publishers that want to pick it up.
Yeah, it's quite the It's basically an encyclopedia. Bigger. It's gonna have like. Yeah, there's gonna be like 7 different books. At least.
So Jagex pretty much is in the same boat as us.
Yeah. So we understand.
Yeah. So completely. In the Deadman survey that we just talked about, they asked for your opinion on a number of prospective changes. Among others, we've added following to your feedback, can be found below. But some of them are remove the event RPG, stop the warriors guild doors from canceling damage, increase the number of potions and secondaries given by global Deadman drop tables. NPCs with a combat level of 100 plus will have a 1 in 300 chance of dropping a tier 5 emblem. The reason why that these emblems are like a constant thing we're bringing up is for rune pouches. That's the main use. Yep. You can buy like rune pieces, but you're going to be using them for rune pouches. That's why it's kind of like a big deal in finding out what's good.
It also seems like it becomes its own little store thing where you can exchange. Like you can exchange them for points, and the points will sit there with the emblem trader, right? Yeah, so it seems like a way you can kind of have your own like savings account. Purely,
if you're doing it for that prospect, you're gonna lose money no matter what.
Well, yeah, it's just meant for if you die, maybe you still have some things you can buy when your bank gets cleaned out.
Or add an NPC to Lumbridge that allows players to teleport to Fally, Varrock, Sears Village, Artie, or Trinome Village once per day. So it's going to be one of them. You can't teleport to each of them once. Double the drop rate of Abyssal Whip, Leaf Bladed Battle Axe, Dragon Plate Skirt, Defender, Visage, God Wars items, Ward Shards, Imbued Heart.
Whoa. Why the plate skirt and not the plate legs?
Because of Rev Caves. No, I don't know. I'm assuming dragons. What typical Slayer tasks drop plate skirts?
Well, those same monsters are dropping dragon.
They probably
legs,
just implied
right?
both, maybe. I don't know.
Or maybe because the dragon plate skirt is inherently better, mainly because it has a less weight tied to it than plate legs.
And allows for more direct airflow.
Yeah, that's a good point.
These items, though, specifically are typically walls for certain people that it determines who gets ahead. There's been some seasons where, like, Monty got one super quickly. Monty RS is, like, a streamer, and he's, like, really good tri-britter. And then there's times where, like, he's also gone, like, 600, 700 dry on, like, an Abbey whip. And, like, there's, like, these Dragon Defenders, the Visage, like, more like the whip and the Defender. Like, there's times where, like, some people will get a Defender in, like, 2 hours, and then some other people are there for, like, 12 hours. Those 5 hours is, like, super, super important, especially if you don't want to be a complete melee-based build. You might get it for, like, a DDS spec or, like, whatever, if you're tri-breeding later on, but it, like, literally can make or break how well you do within a season or a final.
Yep, and I know, like, for me, getting the Dragon Defender, it took me over 1,000 kills going from no Defender all the way up to Dragon, whereas some people can do, like,
I was actually talking to someone who was like, I'm gonna go get my Defenders, and he had, like, black in, like, 10 minutes. And I remember it taking me like a whole weekend to get that shit done. But yeah, they're going to double it. And so that makes it just in general, like you're not watching Torvesta's Deadman mode day 1 and the whole time I'm getting my Defender. Unlucky. You know what I mean? Sure. It just creates more content for everybody and you can actually like PK more. And if you lose it somehow, you can go get one back quickly. On the topic of doubling things and emblems, we're going back to emblems. They'll be doubled. The drop rate will be doubled from Wilderness Bosses and Slayer. They want to stop agility rooftop obstacles from canceling damage, which I didn't know was a thing. Mainly because, you get your couple keys, you're going to run to Polynevich or something and just do agility courses until the time runs out. That's like a pretty meta thing for PKers. They want to remove Lava Dragons from the task list of the Wilderness Slayer. I don't know why that's being whatever. So this is what their proposed new season format is. It's like it's not in stone. None of this is set in stone. It's just proposing this. So season would last for approximately 4 weeks, and specific content would gradually unlock each weekend. So the weekend of the first week is 6-hour immunity for all new players and automatic unlocking of all quests, but you don't get the rewards. You just get them unlocked. Week 2, Barrows equipment will be added to the Barrows rewards chest, and the Crystal Shield will be made available. Same with Ancient Magics. And then week 3, Xeric, the Chamber of Xeric, and the Theater of Blood would be made available. What do you think about this?
Well, Theater of Blood, I'll leave that one out because I'm not sure how that one exactly works, but I know for like raids, it seems a bit weird because once you get into raids, it's a save zone. So you're able to spend some time grinding for items without having to worry about getting killed. Sorry, did you mention whether you get the experience? Well,
you do get experience, and it would be multiplied most likely. They don't specify that you wouldn't get experience, so it's safe to say that you would get experience and bonus experience.
Right, like it's not.
Keep in mind, it's not good experience. Right? Killing the bosses themselves can be really good experience in like as a whole. But if you're trying to do them like semi-efficiently, like you don't just go in. You could go in with a glory, but like is Void a thing in Deadman mode? Seriously, is Void a thing? Because if not, then like it's gonna be really tricky.
I can't imagine it is. Like, you go into pest control, you come out and instantly get slaughtered while you're waiting.
Keep in mind that Dragon Claws would be in. That'd be really neat. I think that'd be like really neat. Because you don't see people AGSing and shit. You don't see that. But, D-Claws are pretty huge. You could get Dragon Harpoons or throwing axes. God damn, dude. I could pull a bunch of throwing axes. Imagine pulling a T-Bow in Deadman mode. Holy shit, that would suck. That would be so bad. Yeah, there's no blowpipe. Zalra's not in it. So doing these raids would be a lot harder. I don't think Void would really be a thing. That'd take hours to get, and you get killed and you're fucked, right?
But at the same time, is this allowing clans an easier advantage now? You know what I mean? Like, they can work together and do these raids, whereas a solo player...
I'm assuming that if they do this, they should make it so you can't enter the raid in combat, because what would happen is you would have someone with an alternate account sit in the raid. You would be on that world. Like, so let's say me and you are just doing raids on Deadman mode. We'd have an alternate account that has a pre-scouted world. If we got attacked while banking and running, we could just run into that. There's no menuing we have to do. We just have to be able to tank that little distance. It's very short to get into the entrance and be safe in the raid. And then if we're like poisoned or something, we die, we'll just respawn in the lobby room.
Yeah, it seems like they're kind of taking a chance with this one. They're hoping it's not going to be an issue, but I have a feeling it's going to have some exploits that they weren't aware of.
If there's no way for you to enter the raid while in combat, then I think it's a cool idea. Mainly because it would be much harder to do, because everyone would just default the void, but getting void would be really risky if it's even possible. I don't even know if it is. There's no blowpipe, which is super necessary. Doing rooms like Skeletal Mystics will be a pain in the ass, because you won't have a salve amulet EI. Not on like week 1, or not on day 1. I guess unless you like pre-prep. Unless it's like week 2 and you like go and get your salve amulet imbued and enchanted. But that's a lot of time deliberately getting one item ready. You need whips and shit for that. Like there's like a lot of things you need for Xerics. You also have to be good at them too, right? And it gives PPMers a safe way to grind out items. Like God Wars is so risky. A safer way, I should say. Theater of Blood, same thing, because the bank is super close to the entrance. We'll talk about that later, but I do think like there's not too many super good items. Like Ancestral would be super busted, obviously. Declaws would be super nice. Oh yeah. Like in 1v1s and shit, some dudes rocking a full Ancestral, which is definitely not going to happen, but if it is a thing, the only thing I can think of is if these raids are added into the... Sorry to keep going on about this, but if these raids are added into the game during the finals, if they're still in the game and you're doing that chest shit where you're going around opening up those loot or those care packages, upgrading your gear, you could potentially get full Justicar armor, or, you know, you could be getting Ancestral as well, which would be super busted. Final hour, literally putting in no work, but you find like declaws or something. Yeah, I do think it's kind of neat though. There's a lot of questions. I don't like they don't really give you too much. It's like, do you like this? On a scale of 1 to 5, it's like, well, it depends. Depends on the context and like what happens alongside it.
The one thing I like about this is it just opens up a possibility to make the final tournament kind of exciting, in the sense that we're always waiting to see what's going to go wrong this time. And the winner is, he bugged out and he's fighting
and he rage quit.
Jagex
I'm assuming like some of the most hype shit ever would be in a 1v1, some dude pulls out an AGS and specs for the win, right? Final 2?
Sure.
But no one kills Arma because it's fucked.
Because it costs you 600k to kill them
that, and
kills.
It's multi-combat, so you're going to get jumped by a team. Like, getting that... I mean, people have gotten, like, BGSs and stuff, but they really... Like, that would be super cool to watch them do with, like, a hidden spec weapon, and they pull out, like, D-Claws or an AGS. But, like, a D-Claw would be, like, a lot more possible, and if someone has a Grazi Rapier... Like, no one will... Like, there might be one person with it, maybe, but I highly doubt it.
Someone with full Judiciaries and
Din's wouldn't die. The Sanguinesti stats are fucking healing. They're gaining health off the dudes. Yeah, it could be really cool, or it could make it where, well, now you can't win if you're a solo player, because clans will funnel gear to someone... And they'll get their best players to open up all the chests, and boom, they have a Grazi Rapier. Done. So it could be good, could be awful. But yeah, anyways, we'll move on, because there's one more thing really to talk about. And it is the new quest called A Taste of Hope. This is like the precursor to the new raids coming out. Keep in mind, it's a medium, they say it's an experienced level quest. It's really short. You need 48 crafting, 45 agility, 40 attack, 40 herb lore, 38 slayer. Do you want to go over the lore of it?
Sure. For many years, the Myrick have fought back against the reigns of the Drakons. To many, they act as a glimmer of hope in an otherwise miserable existence. In recent times, the Myrick have been beset by disaster, with numerous members meeting a gruesome end at the hands of Vanstrom Klaus, the brutal henchman of the Drakons. However, while the Myrick may be in their darkest hour, hope still remains. Thanks to a recent discovery in the laboratories deep beneath Myrditch, the Myrick may have finally found a way to take the fight to the vampires. They will do just that in the latest installment in the Myrick questline, A Taste of Hope.
If you complete the quest, you get a quest point, you get a tome of experience that you can use 3 times, and it grants 2.5k experience, as long as it's level 35 and above. Easy rune crafting experience.
Yeah, 7.5k rune crafting experience.
And a new unlimited teleport that takes you directly to the Theater of Blood, and a new weapon for killing vampires.
Yep. This new weapon is called the Ivandis
Looks cool
Flail.
as fuck.
It looks pretty sweet. Doesn't seem the greatest.
It's got the stats of a dragon mace.
Interesting fun fact, this is the same item in RuneScape 3. They look the exact same, called the exact same, and both do the exact same things. Although in RuneScape 3, the more Firewatch you kill with the Ivandis Flail, it kind of upgrades and you get bonus stats as you kill. I think it's every 50 of them. Yeah, I think it does cap. It caps at 500
That's pretty
kills.
Cool.
On the RuneScape 3 subreddit, it's not very good because I think they came out with other quests that give better Ivandis equipment.
Have you done the quest?
Interesting. I have not. I meant to do the quest today, but haven't got to it yet. I'll probably do it after we're done recording.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I did it on release, and so it's kind of funny. So I was playing RS as the servers were going down for this Thursday's update, and I'm like, you know what? And I was streaming too, and I was like, you know what? I will just go do the quest on release. So I go and I run down to like the bottom right, like if you remember where the black square was. Anyways, I run up to the black wall pretty much, like right up to it, and I log out. Servers come up, I load back in, and I'm like, the way they placed it, like they placed a wall on the other side of me, and I was put in this area that you can't get to. And I was like in these like woods on the outside of town, but I was completely gated in this like small area, and I couldn't go. Like I could go in and like, I don't know. It was really cool. I was out of the map.
Do you have people commenting on it?
I was like, oh, this is cool. It happened to me and someone else I was watching alongside. We both had the same issues. We like ran around and it's like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then, okay, let's do the quest now. It's really short. Heads up, you have to navigate the a little bit. There's a little bit of it.
Hollow Vale.
Pro tip though, when you have to go to the north, just go get caught by a vampire and go mine ore. You can get a bronze pickaxe from the miners, and it just saves you a lot of headache.
Right, yeah, you'll get approached by the Firewatch every now and then, and they'll tell you to either let them take a bite from you, or they'll put you into their like slave camps.
Yeah, if you have the Mortania Hard or Elite legs, those are lifesaver because you can teleport to Berg Durot and then take a boat to the southern part of the Myrditch, because you'll have to go from the north and south parts throughout the quest. I won't spoil much, but keep in mind that the Berg Durot boat is really, really nice. It's on the southern shore.
There's also a scroll you can buy from the GE that comes from the clue scrolls. And
if you don't have a Rod of Avandis and you have done whatever quest it is where you get it, like you have to do the quest before you do this. I forget what the quest is called. Darkness of Hollow Vale. You give Rod of Avandis to I always forget his name. It's something punny. Let me check. His name is Belief Hurts. It's like,
don't get it.
I don't know, Belief. I don't know. I'm probably saying it wrong, but Belief Hurts. No, Veliaf Hurts. Okay. I don't fucking know. Anyways, so in Berg Durot, there's a pub, and in the basement of the pub, there's this Veliaf Hurts guy. Talk to him to get the Rod of Avandis. There are people that were like, fuck, I have to go make another one, and it's a pain. You have to go get like a silver bar, and you have to go get this mold, and you have to go do stuff. You can just talk to him, and you can get one rod. You can only get one from him, though. So if you don't have it in your bank, go talk to him. If he doesn't have it, then you got it from him beforehand and dropped it. And you'll have to go make one.
This is where the hoarding mentality comes in RuneScape, where like you fill your bank up with all this useless quest reward stuff. You're like, well, what if I might need it? And you're like, I'll just go make a new one. And then this happens, and you're like, oh yeah, this is why I hoard it, because it's a pain in the ass to go back and get it.
Quick little item list. You don't need many items. You need like 1k coins, but there's a bank right next to the dude that requires it. Emerald, chisel, 3 air runes, and a cosmic rune. The Rod of Avanda, so you can get, and then a pestle of mortar, but you can get that during the quest, and then weapons and armor and shit. You'll probably look up at a guide when you do it, but it's a really cool quest. I liked it a lot. It's short and sweet with some cool combat. I don't really want to spoil it. Pretty intuitive. I did it without a guide and was able to like figure it out pretty easily. Fun, cool quest. I think you should go do it, even if you're not going to do Theater of Blood. Having that teleport, it's pretty nice. So along with this quest coming out, they added the new area to the world map. So there's Versenhaza, which is where Theater of Blood will be being taken, and it's on the southeastern side of the Mire Ditch. And there's also the Slep, which is in between Port Phasmatis and Versenhaza. So yeah, so they filled out.
Cool.
Mortania's officially filled out. No black spots.
Yeah, if you look at the map, it looks a lot more clean. How many other spaces do we have to fill out?
We have
on
the
the
desert.
We
have the ice area. So above the God Wars dungeon, the ice path, frozen plateau, the little ice area that like overlaps into the wilderness. And I guess Zaya. Yeah, we only have 3 spots left. And then there's a huge area where a new continent can be made. But I want them to finish Zaya first.
Sick. Yeah, the desert has a big, like you could add. That's raids 3, baby.
Dude, that's probably raids 3. Yeah, I would not be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, let's speculate on a name. I'm going with the Sands of Time.
Dust Bowl. I don't know.
The Dust Boys. A desert raid would be fucking
water
sick.
skins and shit.
Shit. Oh yeah, that's cool. That's a good.
Sit on a stool, pull a rope, and have water spill on you.
I don't get
Female dancer. I don't know who it is. Someone's like famous for the. It's like a dance move though, where you like pull the rope and like. But there's someone who made it. It doesn't matter. Anyways, we'll move on. Never mind.
I'm confused. Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, new quest. So I guess going back to the OSRS mobile, be careful for fishing. A lot of fishing attempts. That's pretty much it, really.
Yeah, we're not going to explain it again. We've done it every single time we talk with mobile release.
There's going to be some more invites coming out, so don't worry. Even though everyone I know fucking has the invite, but not me.
Yeah, that's just the way she goes, it seems like. You get your Dragon Hunter crossbow. Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, that is it for the news. Is there anything in the community worth talking about?
Not really. I had here about the challenge mode raids not being as competitive as we thought, but we already talked about that before the news. Maybe in hindsight, we should have held it off to now. Oh, and the other thing that I did notice was, so some of the streamers and content creators in the community got invited over to Jagex HQ to test out the new raid and kind of give some feedback on it. One of these players that got flown out was he's a streamer and a YouTuber named Mr. Mammal, and he made a YouTube video kind of showing some of the gear, just basically just the Judiciaries, and showing how tanky it was, and he kind of talked over it and stuff. But he wasn't able to mention too much about what the raid actually is, but one thing they did mention, which was kind of interesting to me, was that there were 2 groups that went out and did the raids, and I believe both of them were able to finish it the first try without like dying.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me though.
I was a little surprised to hear that, to be honest.
These people, first of all, they have 0 ping, which is pretty big. If I'm getting like 60 to like 150, depending on how Jagex, is dicking me around these stupid maintenance updates on these servers that don't help. God damn it. Inconsistent, like high ping sometimes. Very unreliable. These guys have 0 ping. Most of them have got an Inferno Cape. Keep that in mind. And Inferno Cape is definitely going to be much harder than raids too. There's no way in hell they're thinking of gearing it. It's going to be like fight, but you do that 5 times. That's going to be the difficulty in terms of like the first couple times will be hard, but like then you understand the fight. Now it's easy.
Yeah, but I was just surprised hearing that because like being able to do it one shot, like you're learning the mechanics as you go, but also you're learning it at a rate where you are able to finish the fight. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, okay, we have to step in that.
People
one
shot raids 1 on release.
Did they? I didn't know that. Without dying.
Like raids 1, there's people that jumped in, was like, okay, they tested out some of these rooms. All right, cool. Oh, we need pickaxes. Okay. Well, we'll go kill some scavengers. They drop pickaxes. And they just made it all the way to Olm.
See, I'm surprised about that. Like, Olm, like, people were able to beat Olm the first try without even dying. The
mechanics are pretty intuitive. Like, you see what goes down, and it tells you what to do in the chat box, and then it's kind of like, okay, electrical walls are coming. I probably don't want to stand on this shit that's running at me. Okay, there's a white marker between me and this guy, and it says to go pair together. So I'm going to just right-click follow him.
Yeah, but, like, even with the fire move he does, that he traps somebody in a fire path. Like,
yeah, I mean,
I don't think it was laid out that you need to bring water.
But that still doesn't really mean anything. Unless everyone in the raid is stacked on top of each other, which probably isn't. Everyone's probably like lined up all in different areas. The main point I'm making is that like the mechanics are pretty intuitive. Where like you look at Olm and it's not like he shoots an overhead. It says in your chat, you must protect against this thing. And it says it in green letters. And like, okay, this green ball is coming at me. It's telling me to change my overhead to it. And that's in green. Well, range is green. Protect from. It's not like there's like a wall of fire, or wall of electricity. And it's like stand in this for 3 seconds and jump out and then trade your teammate and give him an over. Like, it's not like that. It's like, it's pretty like, okay, we gotta do this.
I had pictured in my head like the mechanics would be a bit more intense. Like, obviously it's easy to see, but it's still like a more unforgiving raid where like, I guess Chambers of Xeric is different because you can't really wipe in it, because even when you die 10 times, his health is still at whatever it was when you died. So it's a bit different where like if somebody dies in that fire pit, like one person, they just run back and it's not really a party wipe. So it's a little bit different. I'm sure people were dead, but like they just ran back and continued.
But keep in mind, like, so like there's people like Lake, who's like an Iron Man. I believe he was there. He's really fucking good at the game. I don't know if he's got an Inferno Cape, but I watched him do like solo raids and shit. He's super good. Bodhi, who has a couple Inferno Capes. MMORPGS was there. I think he's got an Inferno Cape. I'm not sure. Wooks was there. So there are a lot of like really good players there with no ping, with max stats and best gear too, right? You bring a Twisted Bow in and you're going to be just skipping mechanics. You can straight up just ignore shit with like a twist. And like, unless they have got like, unless they're all geared with like, or all the bosses have like less than 200 magic, the T-Bow like probably fucks them up so hard. So I think 200 is a magic number, someone was telling me. 200 and above, and I think it caps at like 250 or 240. But if you're in best in slot, there's people going in with full Jujitsu already with the Grazi Rapier, T-Bow, full Ancestral. You know what I mean? It like, it's not an honest playthrough. It's not an honest test. So I wouldn't.
No, I get that, but like, I'm still surprised that the mechanics aren't that unforgiving. Where like, if you have the max gear and you step in this shit that's gonna do a lot of damage, it's not really gonna do that much damage. You just heal through.
Well, it happens and they go, oh, and they just step out.
Step in it next time.
Like if they're able to get an Inferno Cape, it's gonna be easy for them. They definitely have the like Wook's getting an Inferno Cape on day one, figuring out everything on his own.
He never got the Inferno Cape on day one.
No,
though.
that's
it
a
took
good
like
point.
3 days.
Who got it on day one? No one did. Oh shit, no, that's
nobody
right.
did.
But the main point is that like he was the one, him and V the Victim, I know they were like neck and neck. They're like figuring out, oh shit, there's three Jads this phase. Oh my god, there's a Jad during like the last phase in the last wave. Like he was literally figuring out mechanics as he went through, and he was doing a pretty decent job of it. And that's going to be much harder than these raids.
Oh yeah, you're going to have 4 other people to make up for your mistakes.
In the chat box, there's going to be an explanation of the mechanics like an Olm. Like Olm, it says, you are paired with this person. Go and stand on top of each other, and you just go and do that.
I guess I just had higher expectations. Like, I haven't seen it
honestly,
yet, so obviously...
We're all going to go in, and we're going to struggle. Don't think, one shot. Like it's gonna be an awful process. Don't think because they one shot it means that like everyone else can, because they got like the best PVMers, not the best, but like somewhat one of the best, but like the most renowned PVMers, and they put them in a group with the best gear with no ping and the best stats, and said, "All right, go smash this bitch."
Yeah, exactly. Like I think I just had a little bit higher expectations in that sense. Like obviously they went in there, they gave feedback. Jagex is going to tweak it to make it a bit harder.
Yeah,
now.
probably.
But like when I look at raids, I can't help but compare it with how other games did it. Whereas we're going to bring back World of Warcraft. With their raids, you have the top guilds running it, and it takes hours upon hours until the first one's actually complete.
That's really different though. It's not really comparable.
I know it's a bit different, but like, you know what I mean? Like even with like Destiny, when they came out with a new raid, it's not like a group goes in is able to bet one.
Yeah, well, like it's not really comparable.
It usually takes a lot of figuring it out. It would
be like in WoW, a new mythic raid comes out, and it's easy to find out all the mechanics, and everyone already has the best gear you can get in the game. Like that's the main thing. Is like I think you underestimate like the power of max gear. It's like it's fucking like a twisted bow. Changes like 7 to 11 kill Sarah trip to 40. You know what I mean? Like it like cuts your raids time in half if you have one.
I don't think I had low expectations for how well the best gear would perform in it. I think my expectations were coming towards the mechanics, where like a lot of it's pretty straightforward. Don't step in the poop, dodge the things that are shooting across the screen. If something green is shooting at you, it's probably going to be a ranged thing, so switch to that.
I mean,
it's red,
they probably had
melee,
JMods explain the mechanics
blue,
to them.
Mage.
They probably like, hey, this
possibly.
guy does this, and this. When this happens, do this. They probably had Mod Jed like buy vodkas the day before the raids come out. God damn it. No, but in all seriousness, like they probably had like a good idea of what everything is, what they're going to see. And then they saw it and just did it. Like I wouldn't take too much from that.
No, I know. I'm not trying to like create an argument out of nothing, but it got me like thinking, and we talked about this before off air, but about the mechanics in RuneScape, where like a lot of them are pretty straightforward and they're pretty, switch your prayers to this, dodge that, this is going to cut your prayer off, you're poisoned, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. But there's a lot of mechanics that if you were willing to get creative, you could kind of get a lot of use out of. And it seems like they've tried to do that, but then they're not willing to fix ways to avoid it. An example of this is the Mutadil fight in Chambers of Xeric, where they have this tree that you can cut down to prevent him from healing, which you can do that as a strategy, but most people just kind of fight through it.
I mean, if I'm doing duos and stuff, and I trust duos, trios, whatever, and I'm trusting the person I'm with to bring like water strikes and to like get me out of fires if I'm in it, I'll just bring ice barrage, and I'll just barrage them at half health so they don't go and heal because they can't move, right?
Yeah, exactly, and that's
part of the game, right? That's easy.
But...
That's a strategy. It's kind of like how you work with it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just hoping we see some unique mechanics in this, and I'm sure we're going to see a few of them. But
look what they did with Olm. Olm is granted, you can skip every single mechanic, minus that big exploit that they never decided to fix, which I guess it's too late to. Olm is a really well done fight. For like your casual, it is a really cool fight that literally has everything, where it's like, you gotta rely on someone to bring water strikes, you gotta use teamwork and stand together, find a strategy to make sure you're not swapping each other for 50 damage. You have to watch the floor so you don't stand in bombs or stand in electricity. You have to pay attention to your character so you're not standing in acid. You have to be mindful of other players and not bring acid towards them. You know, like there's like a lot of like little mechanics. Watch your overhead prayers, so you have to watch almost at the same time. He switches attack styles. Like they kind of thrown like a lot of really interesting stuff. And there are some things you can abuse, like you can run through the electricity on certain ticks that Mod Kyrene said he fixed for this raid, so things will be more consistent. Like I think that the fights I think it'll be really good. If I like heard if this conversation was none of them could beat raids 2, I'd be so upset.
Not beat it, but like I was just surprised to hear they're able to one-shot it. That was the part that was surprising to me. It wasn't like, oh, they died on the third fight, they went back, and then the second attempt they were able to beat it. But the fact that they were able to do it with the one shot was like, maybe the mechanics aren't as unforgiving as I had.
Maybe he implied that like
be.
Everyone died and then Wooks just soloed it. You know what I mean? In terms of one shot, because when you die, you sit outside of the fight and you watch it. And if Wooks does it successfully, then everyone can continue to the next room. So like, it could have easily just been like one or two people carrying the hill giant himself. You know?
Fair enough. Yeah, that is true. It does sound like it's going to be like a really cool raid. I do like the fact that it's more of a linear 5 boss fights with no skilling rooms and stuff like that in between. It's a bit different, but it should be more straight to the action. Whereas with Chambers of Xeric, you have to stop to make your potions and shit like that. Which whatever, it's a little bit of downtime, but it is what it is. I was really hoping we're gonna have to see dedicated roles where like, okay, Deagin, you're on Lunars, Dilz, you're on Ancient Magics. Guy number 3, you're on just the standard magic book, but you're going to be on range damage. And then guy number 4, you're tank. Guy number 5, you're just straight melee damage. That would be a kind of a cool meta, I guess, for the game to have, because RuneScape kind of lacks that, where everyone just kind of has the same gear and you just swap with your equipment. But who knows? Maybe we'll see something like that. I don't know. But that's something I would love to see.
I mean, there will be a meta for sure that like develops. Like in challenge mode raids, on day 1, there was a meta that developed where you have someone on standard, you want someone on ancients, you want someone on lunars. Like that happened on day 1. So that will happen as well in raids too, 100%.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. See, I would love that. Like, Lunar Spellbook doesn't get used enough. It's basically just used for
Vengeance.
Skilling.
I mean, that's all you use it for in challenge mode. But it's still like, all right, we're going to go and inspect. We're all venged up. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Let Tecton hit you for an 83. Just do it. It's going to feel so nice to venge that. Just do it. And then you let him kill you, and you're like, cool, come back, get venged again. Do the fight, let him kill you again, whatever. And then it's like, you know, hey, Deagin, you're on Ancients. Make sure to freeze that muta. Oh, you forgot? Nice. Now you just wasted 30 seconds, idiot. Good job, buddy. But, like, it's actually, like, really fun to, like, have a role. Like, it makes me enjoy raids a lot more if I'm, like, doing duos plus. And I'm like, nice, there's muta. I'm bringing in my Ancients. And it's like, yo, check this out. Swap to my mage gear. Barrage. Boom. Can't heal. We're set.
Yeah, it is kind of cool to have your own specific role. Like if you're on Lunars, I just wish other things like spec transfer and heal other got used more often, which would make it like makes it a more of a utility role or a support role when you're in the PVM.
So I have to reanimate some bitches.
Yeah, I gotta fix these crops 1 second. But anyways, it's just around the corner, so we're definitely gonna be seeing how it goes. Like I said, I'm going to try to get some people together to try to do the raid. Whether we complete it or not, that's another story. But it's just something I would like to experience on day 1 and just, see how it goes. More on that afterwards. But for now, we'll swing it onto the lore. Last episode, we talked about King Shazian VII and how he began conducting many experiments using the Dark Altar. Eventually, the altar corrupted his mind. During the 37th decade, the Battle of Concourse began. On the day 3316 of the 37th decade, his army of Elder Warriors rebelled against him and killed him, his body never to be recovered. A few days after the battle had ended, a mysterious warrior appeared and was said to have had a similar appearance to King Shazian VII. This mysterious warrior would soon refer to himself as Xeric. It was quickly discovered that Xeric had used the power of the Dark Altar to move his spirit from his mortal body into a incorporeal one, allowing him to gain massive power and fight back against his soldiers, eventually winning the battle. Many believe that he had achieved his immortality, similar to how the members of the Arceus house do. With his newfound power, Xeric proceeded to kill the remaining lords of each of the houses on Zeah, and then conquer the throne of Great Kurend. However, while he was extremely powerful, he could not rule the people single-handedly, nor could he rely on human informants. He proceeded to create the Lizardmen army, a force he could control and do as he commanded without question. With them at his disposal, the people were powerless to resist his authority. These Lizardmen served Xeric as guards and enforcers of his absolute rule. They would sweep the cities and farms, kidnapping people for the use of his many experiments, as well as for his own sadistic purposes. The record of some of these experiments imply that the process involved a combination of the breeding of humans and lizards while using the magic from the Dark Altar. During the 40th decade, one of Xeric's closest comrades, Zamfir, achieved a breakthrough in the study of teleportation. This gave Xeric a greater knowledge of teleportation spells than any other wizard on Zeah, which then allowed him to create a talisman which gave instant travel to anybody with it around Great Kurend. In the 43rd decade, a resistance group called Humans Against Xeric, or HAX for short, attempted to storm the Tower of Magic and defeat Xeric. They failed, which resulted in the loss of 200 of their members. On day 312 of the 47th decade, a farmer named Byron witnessed a Lizardman guard murder a child while he was out working on his farm. Outraged, he slaughtered the Lizardmen in response. He then gathered the people within the Hosidius house, urging the people to fight back and to begin a revolt. Within 7 days of this rebellion, Lizardmen were outnumbered and driven to the caves beneath to hide. Xeric's most elite officers, the Vanguard, were also forced to flee. The people of the rebellion then took down the Dark Altar and destroying the temple around it. This caused Xeric to lose a lot of his power. Fearing death, he left Great Kurend in exile. He brought with him his council, where they would then travel west to Mount Quitamortum. He had his artisan, Tecton, build a massive underground complex for him to continue using magic. There was an unknown altar found within the caves, where Xeric was able to replenish some of his lost strength. Vasa Nisterio, another one of Xeric's companions, urged him to use the powers within this ancient unknown altar to one day return and conquer Great Kurend. Tecton created a new temple to harness this power within this cave. However, Xeric soon became annoyed when others began using this temple. He had Tecton demolish this temple, but not so much that in the event that Xeric changed his mind, Tecton could repair it. Tecton tried to teach Xeric how he could study the magic without a temple, but failed, which greatly annoyed Xeric. He eventually took Tecton underground, giving him a new form and anvil, where Tecton would then be forced to repair his new body. Within the caves, many ancient crystals were found. Xeric was able to continue his experiments within them. He acquired several stray dogs, where he then created a creature that resembled a reptilian animal. These new creatures would then be named Mutadiles. Eventually, his lost soldiers, known as the Vanguard, eventually found Xeric and repledged their allegiance to him. However, once brought into these caves, Xeric melted them into lava-like crustaceans as an act of vengeance for abandoning him rather than fighting to the death during the Battle of Concourse. Xeric and his followers stumbled upon a chamber within the caves, where they noticed a rift that led through to another dimension, the Abyss. With the powers within the cave, they tried to open this rift, but this caused a massive demon-like wasp to come through from the other side, claiming the chambers as its own. This wasp would later then be known as Vespula. Xeric later appointed Vasa Nisterio as his new high priest, but Vasa had gained a new form and later gone insane from the magics within, where he then demanded that Xeric worship him instead. This caused the two of them to battle. Xeric was able to defeat Vasa Nisterio, and then bound him to 4 crystals within a chamber inside the cave. The group continued exploring the caves, and as they got to the end, they encountered a massive creature living there. The group was able to defeat it, where an unknown amount of power was gained. This creature, the guardian of the deep, would later be known as the Great Olm. As the group then conquered the caves, a Xerician high priest wrote a journal, which ends with, quote, "The weapons and armor that we have developed in the caves can stay here, in this place of safety. As our Lord now wields power over the crystals of the cave, he intends to create a secure seal around our store. He says it would take an earthquake to shatter it. I am truly awestruck by the power that our Lord now wields. If we were to return to Korend, as he originally planned, I have no doubt that we would regain our former dominion over the city with very little effort. However, while our Lord remains as secretive as ever, in fact, he has become more so after the treachery of our former followers, I sense he has a new plan in mind. Perhaps the throne of Korend has become too small a trophy to satisfy the ambitions of Lord Xeric." End quote. Next week, we travel back to Great Korend to see which king takes the throne. Alrighty then. So yeah, as I just mentioned before, this lore segment, if you're interested on trying the raids out and you're going to be available basically on release, let us know on Discord or something like that. We're looking for like 120 combat, depending on who we get together, maybe even 115. But it would be nice to try it, and who knows, maybe we'll be able to complete it and get some good gear. That would be awesome. But anyways, yeah, if that's something you're interested in and are able to make it for, just, yeah, let us know. We'll reserve a spot or whatever it is.
I mean, I'm going to be seeing if I can, like, hour one, seeing if I can find a group, and if not, then I'll probably just go out for the day, to be honest. Just go out, and then I'll come back later on, try and find a group. If not, go out for, for the night.
Go on a RuneScape strike until you find a group.
Well, I don't want to, I said before that I, fuck it. I'll just watch, like, the streamers do, but it's like, Like, I kind of want to go through the learning process and figuring it all out, because doing that with challenge mode raids was pretty neat. Like, slowly kind of figuring out a meta, where we're now doing certain rooms differently and bringing in different things.
And it's always a fun thing to do with raiding for other games. Most of my experience comes from that. When it comes out day one, you go in it blind with your group, and you're figuring out the mechanics.
Doing that shit in WoW is not fun. You got some goddamn shitty healer who's not doing their job, and you don't get cleansed. You're dispelled, and you just fucking die. And you're like, dude, it's not my job to dispel or cleanse you. It's like, yes, it is. That shit's not fun.
Yeah, that's one story. But on the other hand, when you have a group, you just have to learn the fight out. The amount of times in World of Warcraft when you're with your clan and you're taking the boss out and you get them so close to, you finally to get them like under 20%, and then your team wipes and you're so close.
Guild?
It's frustrating.
You're with your guild?
Guild. And then you go back and try it again, and you finally take the boss out. Like, I remember a bunch of times, like, just being like, it was like a party afterwards. Everyone was so happy they completed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone's cheering and stuff. Like,
I don't know.
Right.
Maybe I just don't have patience. Maybe I'm too serious.
It's I always found it very satisfying. Like, you felt very accomplished just to go through it, and like, it's like the fire cape. You fail 10 times, but that 11th time when you finally get the fire cape, it feels so good to finally get it.
Yeah.
But as in if you beat it the first attempt
with Rune Light,
it wouldn't. Using Rune Light, it wouldn't feel as good.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm kind of not saying I'll even be able to complete it the first day, but you know what I mean? Just going through that process of like, we're finally able to get to the final boss, or we're finally get them down to 50 health. You try it again, you finally get them down to 10 health.
Yep.
And then, and then you finally complete it, and you're like, fuck yeah, that was...
So 99.99% chance there's going to be a death penalty. So if you're planning on to, make sure you have some money saved up. There is a mysterious stranger that sits outside, and you collect your items from him if you were to wipe. So if you're planning on doing it, just, save some money. Like, I've already stockpiled my supplies, and I already have, like, a bunch of cash saved up.
And that is one big factor that kind of overhangs the whole thing about how many times or how hard you're going to go with it. Because if it's a huge penalty, obviously you're not going to want to go to the duel arena after every match to see if you can stake to go another round of raiding.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm hoping we can get a group together and have a fun time with it. But anyways, enough of that. I mentioned earlier about a message on Discord from the user Blood Orchid about doing more on the mobile, like specific tasks, and then coming back with a kind of a summary of how it went. I think that's something we're going to try to do each week. So if you have a suggestion, let us know. But besides that, now is the time where I'm going to drop all of our social media stuff and whatnot. Our clan chat, our in-game clan chat is WildCC. Join us in game. Our Facebook is facebook.com/The Wilderness Podcast. Twitter is @TheWildernessRS. Facebook. Our email is thewildernesspodcast@gmail.com. And we have a Discord. It is posted right now, both on Facebook and Twitter. Yeah, I think that's it. Deagin, you have some stuff you want to drop?
Twitter and Twitch is DeaginRS. I've been streaming like pretty consistently, just at really weird times. Keep that in mind. I don't have a set schedule yet, but typically I do like raids because I don't really know what else would be fun to watch. Slayer's pretty goddamn boring. Twitter, I'm not super active, but I'm going to try and be more active. I think I said that before, but now that
Still
I
trying.
kind of have a better idea of what to do on Twitter, all that
Perfect.
good stuff.
All that good stuff. All right. So with all that being said, it is time for us to get on out of here. So thank you so much for listening to episode 86. Tune in next week for episode 87, which is basically the pre-raids show, I guess.
Yeah.
Prepare for that. All right, guys. Thanks again. Take care. Till next week.
Yeah, have a good one.
Toodaloo.